Hello everyone, welcome to another learning session today. Today in our math class, we'll be looking at multiplication of decimal numbers. Okay, in our previous lessons, we looked at what decimal numbers are, and we said that they are numbers that are a combination of whole numbers and fractions. Decimals are a combination of whole numbers and fractions. An example is here, like this number here, 23.2. Okay, decimal numbers are always written with a point in the midst of them. And how do you know the part that is the whole and the part that is the fraction? The number or numbers that appear before the decimal point are the whole numbers, while the numbers or number that appears after the decimal point, they are the fractions, or the number is the fraction. Okay, so here you have 23 before the point, so that means the 23 is whole number, and 2 is after the point, that means the 2 is the fraction. Okay, this is just to remind us of what decimal numbers are. Today our focus is on how to multiply these numbers. So we have an example here on the board, 23.2 multiplied by 14. Alright, so if you look at the arrangement that I have here, you'll be feeling a bit confused. Now let me just use this to help you understand. If my numbers were all whole numbers, no decimal, this would be my correct arrangement. Why? Because this is unit, this is tens, and this is 100. Okay? And 4 here is unit, 1 here is 10. So we arrange numbers based on their place values. But coming here, the unit is over here and the tens is here. So since 14 is a whole number, this 4 is under unit and 1 is under tens. This is how we need to arrange them in order for this to be correct. Because the 2 you see here is a fraction. So 2 has to stay on the side of fraction. And this side is called the tenth. It's referred to as the 10th position. It is tens because it is 1 out of 10. Like here now, this number here is 2 out of 10, 2 over 10. So it's not a whole number. It has to stay alone. Okay, so this is how you arrange. This is one method. I'll show you another way of doing it. Okay, so let's look at this first. Now you have arranged. What do? Start multiplying. We use 4 first. Okay, so we say 4 multiply 2. That gives us 8. Now you put your point. Always remember that. 4 times 3 gives us 12. You write your 2. You bring 1 up here. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1, 9. You are done with 4. Now you move on to 1. Next to multiply. 1 times 2. Remember, we're going to block here. And remember to put your point as well. So 1 times 2, that gives us 2. 1 times 3, that gives us 3. And 1 times 2, that gives us 2. You see the way we're arranging the numbers. You have to do it orderly. One number under one number. You must arrange them serially and orderly like that. Okay, so next what do? We add. So 8 plus 0, that gives us 8. So remember to bring down your point. 2 plus 2 is 4. 9 plus 3 is 12. And you carry 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. So here is your final answer, which is 324.8. So just look at the arrangement again. Make sure the whole numbers stay together. Remember I said the number after the point is a fraction. It's not a whole number. So it has to stay alone. This is how you arrange. Okay? And then you start multiplying. 4 times 2, 8. Always maintain this point. You maintain this point because that's the demarcation between whole numbers and fractions. So I'm going to show you the second method, and you will see we're going to arrive at the same answer. So in this other method, you're going to just leave out the point totally as you are doing a multiplication. Forget about the point first. Just multiply the way you would multiply whole numbers. Okay, so you have 2, 3, 2 multiplied by 14. So let's go. 4 times 2, that gives us 8, right? 4 times 3, 12. You bring 1 up here. 4 times 2, 8 plus 1, that gives us 9, right? We are done with 4. Now we move on to 1. 1 times 2, you can't write it here. You block here with a 0, right? So 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 3 is 3. and 1 times 2 is 2. What do we do next? We add. Okay, so let's add. 8 plus 0 is 8, 2 plus 2 is 4, 9 plus 3, that gives us 12. You bring 1 here, 1 plus 2, that gives us 3. So we have this answer. Now what do we do? Remember, your number is not 232. The number we are looking at is 23.2. So what do you do next? You count how many numbers you have after the point. So in this case, the numbers we have after the point is just one number. We have only one number after the point. So what do? Counting from your right, count one place backwards and put your point there. So you find out that the answer we got now is the same as what we got before. So you have two ways of doing it. You can work with your point from the beginning, or you can leave your point out first. After you've gotten your final answer, you introduce your point. Now, if there were two numbers after the decimal point, okay, what you do is you count two places from your right hand towards your left. It will be 1, 2, and then you will put your point right here if you have two numbers after the decimal point. But in this case, it's only one number we have, so you just count 1 and then you put your point. So let's quickly look at one more example. All right, so we have a second example here on the board, and you have a 75.2 multiplied by 12.4. Okay, so let's arrange. Now I'm going to use the method where we leave out the point until we've got a final answer before we introduce the point. So here we have 752 times 124. Now you can see I'm not calling 752, I'm just calling the numbers by the individual names, okay? Because we actually have 75.2, not 752. All right, let's do a multiplication. 4 times 2, you got 8. 4 times 5, you have 20. Got your 0 there and bring your 2 up here. All right, so 4 times 7, that's 28, plus 2, you have 30. Now you see the way I'm taking time to arrange my numbers orderly. This 0 is under this, and this 30 comes out here. Fine. Now we're done with 4. So the next number is 2. 2 times 2, remember we block here, right? 0. So 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 5 is 10. You write your 0, you carry 1, you bring the 1 here. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1, you have 15. Okay, so we're done with 2. So the last one now is 1. 1 times 2, remember, we are going to block here now. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 5 is 5. And 1 times 7 is 7. It comes under here. And that's the end. So what do we do next? We add. Okay? So 8 plus 0, we have 8. 0 plus 4 plus 0, we got 4. 0 plus 0 plus 2, that gives us 2. 3 plus 5 is 8, and 8 plus 5 is 13. We bring our 1 here. 1 plus 1 is 2 plus 7, that gives us 9. Okay, now we have a final answer from the multiplication, but that is not where we're going to stop. Why? Because we multiplied decimal numbers, but here there is no decimal point. So we need to introduce a decimal point. So what do? How many numbers do you have after the decimal point? We have two different numbers here. So here we have one after the decimal point, and here we have another one after the decimal point. So that means we have two numbers after the decimal point. So we come to our final answer here. We count from right towards the left. How many places do we count? 2, because we have two numbers after the decimal point. So we have 1, we have counted 1 place, 2. So there has to be 2 numbers after the decimal point. That means our final answer is 932.48. And let me quickly say this. Numbers after the point, you don't call them the normal names you will call digits that are more than 1 digit. For instance, 48 is supposed to be 48. But if it is after a decimal point, you can't call it 48 because it's not a whole number, it's a fraction, so you just name it 48. 932.48, not 0.48. Okay, I hope we have learned something today. We hope to see you again next week. Until then, stay blessed and stay safe.